Voices of unknown origin appearing on radio frequencies were first noticed in Scandinavia by the military in the 30s and were put down at the time to secret Nazi transmitters. But the voices spoke in unknown and mixed tongues, and after the war, no records of secret Nazi transmissions ever came to light. The voices didn't stop after the war, but their rapidity and their transient nature precluded study. That is, until the tape recorder came into common usage in the 50s. A group of radio hands in Chicago studied the strange transmissions, male and female voices speaking in polyglot mode and lyrical tones. But it was not until 1959 that a Russian-born Swedish citizen, radio and TV producer and filmmaker Friedrich Jürgensen noticed intrusions on tape and commenced his own systematic study. A disturbing fact soon emerged. The voices zeroed in onto the Swede, addressing him by name, revealing a knowledge of his thoughts and actions, and claiming to be the voices of deceased friends and acquaintances. The news spread rapidly, and soon experimenters and scientists all over the world were attempting to duplicate Jürgensen's work. Prominent among them was the Latvian psychologist Konstantin Raudive. The effect on parapsychologists was traumatic. Accustomed to investigating the blind forces of the poltergeist and endless and somewhat boring card and dice-guessing experiments, they were confronted at once with living voices, which answered back. Speech being a mark of intelligence and a highly structured artifact. Taken by surprise, the British parapsychologists, without conducting experiments, rejected the objectivity of the voices, explaining them as breakthrough from taxis, police messages, or simply mechanical noises in the tape recorder. But their European counterparts were more cautious, and possibly with greater technical resources, they soon found out that they were indeed confronted with voices of unknown origin on tape, voices which were human-like, but exhibiting odd characteristics, like constructing a sentence from the elements of one or more languages, impinging on a regular broadcast, and by a strange process of metamorphosis, twisting the words of the speaker to suit their purposes and messages. The utterances were strangely lyrical and musical, but compressed and truncated. Rigorous economy with words, and the free use of coined words was common, the so-called neologisms. But like all paranormal phenomena, the voices came and went unpredictably. If the investigator probed too closely as to their source, it seemed as though they broke contact and left him stranded. This is known as the decline effect in psychical research. It is as though there are barriers and constraints against full contact and confrontation. It may be argued that a study of the voices on tape of non-human origin contributes nothing to our survival biologically, and that our sensory apparatus needs to be closely focused on material affairs to ensure our economic and planetary survival. The voices may be a mutant development of some remote corner of the subconscious mind, or a transient byproduct of the electromagnetic pollution which now rings our planet and presses outward into space. Or then again, the voices may herald the first tentative contact with intelligences from a parallel world, who, occasionally, when conditions are right, and at the interface between two separate realities, reach out to us, manipulating electronic apparatus and energies in ways at present unknown to us, studying our languages, probing our minds, presenting us in many cases with what we want to hear, or what they imagine we expect to hear. Between 1973 and 1977, I was situated in a so-called window area, an area in a city with a high electromagnetic flux. Nearby, a mass X-ray center, a radio hotspot, and utilizing an ordinary receiver tuned to the aircraft band, I was able to record, when atmospheric conditions were favorable, male and female voices of unknown origin, which occasionally addressed me by name. It has also been suggested that the radio receiver in use suffered from RF breakthrough, allowing foreign material to bypass the tuned circuits. All in all, a highly complex combination of factors, which unfortunately changed, but then allowed brief contact with another reality. That contact has now ceased, but then my attention is directed once more to mundane activities. My profession, politics and science, hi-fi, and wine, women and song. No wonder a silvery female voice breaking through onto the airband sang in German, "We're from another world, but you've cut us out." Maybe one day the contact will be renewed, but let there be no mistake. The validity and objectivity of the paranormal voices doesn't depend on Jurgensen, Konstantin Raudive, or myself, for there are now hundreds of voice experimenters worldwide, and the mysterious voices have been recorded from Siberia to Scunthorpe and are stored in digital form in data banks in the West and in the Soviet Union. As I prepare this tape, some of my own examples are being processed at a US Air Force base in Texas and have been fed into a computer of the Western Alliance in the Ruhr. We stand at the threshold of new discoveries, and a breakthrough may occur at any time. Some say we are not yet ready for the contact. Worldwide presentation of Jurgensen's results on 2 LP records has been cancelled. No reasons given. So do we keep our senses focused on terrestrial affairs, the energy crisis, economic growth, commerce and finance, war and armaments? Or is that pathway leading to ultimate disaster? Or will the silvery voices open our awareness to other realities and a wider universe?